Hi, I'm Allison Howard. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's yoga class will be a chest opening sequence for anybody that spends a lot of time huddled over their computer or driving or huddled over their phone. We tend to spend a lot of time the chest caving forward, shoulders hugging in. And so today's class will be focused on opening up the chest and stretching some of the muscles on the front of the body. You don't need a whole lot of props for this practice. Toward the end of the practice, we'll be doing a supported fish pose. So I like to have a couple of blocks for that purpose. But honestly, if you have a pillow, you can make that work. Even some rolled up blankets can work. If you've not already done so, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It helps me keep putting out new free content every single Monday morning on this channel. So grab your props and your mat and let's get started. We'll begin seated in a comfortable position on our mats, either cross-legged or sitting up on your heels or onto a bolster or a block, and lengthen up through the crown of the head. And if it feels okay for you, you can allow your eyes to fall shut and notice sensation in the body. It's a moment we can take to restore patterns, grooves, habits that our bodies and our minds get into over the course of our daily lives. And yoga can be a way to notice those patterns, to rearrange patterns if we want to rearrange them. Bring your attention to your breath. Breathe deeply. Expanding all through the torso. And allowing the mind to situate itself more closely to the physical body. You can blink your eyes open and bring your hands down beside the hips and notice the surface that supports you. On your next inhale, bring your arms out in front of you. Interlace the fingers and flip the palms around away from you as you extend the arms forward. From here, round the spine and allow the chin to hang heavy toward the chest. Inhale, press the palms of your hands up toward the ceiling. Exhale, release the fingertips, arms come out wide and behind the back. And inhale, press the chest away from the fingertips, open through the front of the body. Don't allow the back of the neck to simply flop, but bring some tone to the deep neck flexors, the muscles that hold the head up. And inhale, release that. Arms come back in front of you, interlace the palms, press the palms of your hands away from you, and round the spine. Inhale, stretch the palms up to the sky. Exhale, fingertips come behind the back. Chest presses up toward the rafters. Inhale, arms come out in front, interlace fingers, press palms away. Round the spine. And then press the arms up toward the sky. Exhale, hands behind the back, press the chest up toward the ceiling. Nice. And exhale, release that. Hands come down to the mat for cat and cow pose. So it will be cat and cow with a little bit of an extra emphasis on the cow portion of this cat and cow movement. So from here, press your belly down, lift your hips up, firm the heels of the hands down and into the mat, and open the collarbones, lift the chin. Feel that stretch through the collarbones, all along the belly. And then exhale, round the spine. Inhale, drop the belly. Feel into the front side of the body. Open the collarbones. Exhale, round. One last time, drop the belly. Lift the chin. Open through the chest, lift the hips. And exhale, round the spine. Walk the hands forward in space. They may come forward all the way off of the edge of your yoga mat. And then press your chest down, keeping your thigh bones straight up and down. So you're not sitting your hips back over your heels. You're stretching your chest down toward the mat. It might not get all the way down, and that's okay. Coming down for a little puppy pose. Breathe deeply into the stretch. It's a lot of stretch into the spine. And when you're ready, you can walk your hands back underneath the shoulders. Press the hips back over the heels. Child's pose. A long breath in child's pose. Bring your heart forward and lower your belly all the way down and onto the mat. We're coming into this scorpion twist, sort of prone twist pose here. So there's a lot of options for intensity. Your arm can be at a sort of cactus position. You can extend it out into a nice wide T. And you have options for how much you twist toward your left. So extend your left arm however you like, and you can always come out of this and readjust it. Your right hand is going to come underneath your right shoulder. And use your right hand to press yourself up, around, and over onto your left shoulder. So you're sort of laying on your left side here. You're welcome to grab a block and place it underneath your temple on the left side, or just allow your head to rest down onto the mat. This may be plenty for you. You may want to cactus the arm. You may like to bring the right knee up and tent it toward the sky with the right foot either behind the left thigh or crossing around and in front of the left thigh. And you can play around with placement of the right hand, either closer or farther away from the body. This is an intense stretch for a lot of people. So feel if you can Slow down the breath and the mind and feel sensation in the body. From here, just begin to unwind, bringing your hand underneath the position of your right shoulder and coming down onto your belly. And we'll set up for the other side. So bring your left hand in close to your left shoulder and find the placement you'd like for your right hand. Either cactus it up or extend it to a nice wide T. Press into your left hand and roll up and on to your right side. And then notice the placement that would feel nice for your left foot. It's sort of an awkward placement for the head here. So if this feels weird, it's not necessarily wrong. It kind of is weird. But you're welcome to come out of it, unroll, and then retry different things. Or just sit in it and breathe into any sticky spots in the spine or the shoulder. So much of what we do has us huddling forward, staring down with our arms in front of our bodies. These chest openers can be really intense. And for multiple reasons, they can be really intense. Depending on the shape and size of your body, they can bring up a lot of thoughts and awareness that you haven't really noticed that much before. Bring your left hand back underneath your left shoulder and lower down. Both hands underneath the shoulders. And we are going to press ourselves up and back over our heels for a child's pose. So opening the chest can be this sort of freeing sensation of openness, but it can also feel a little vulnerable. Just go slow and easy and notice sensation. Press yourself up to a tabletop pose. Tuck your toes underneath and lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. You can pedal out the heels here in your down dog, really generously bending one knee and then the other, opening a little bit in the backside body as well as the front. Here from downward facing dog, take an inhale, lift your right heel, bend your right knee, and you can hug your right heel in toward your left glute and open the hip nice and wide. Exhale, right foot comes down, and we'll take that to the other side. So take an inhale, lift your left heel. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Notice how the gaze almost comes out underneath the left armpit here. And exhale, foot comes down. Inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, and step up to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant, step it back. And go through a flow, chaturanga up dog, downward facing dog sequence, or just press back to downward facing dog. Inhale, your right heel lifts, and place your right heel in between your hand. Leave your left heel lifted. Inhale, come up, crescent lunge. Fingertips stretch up to the sky. Take a long inhale for length. Exhale, hinge at the elbows. Bring your hands to cactus arms and press your chest up to the sky. Shoulder blades squeeze in toward one another on an inhale. Beautiful. Inhale, reach both arms back up. And then exhale, ground onto your left heel at 90 degrees and open your arms out. Warrior two. From Warrior two, interlace your hands behind the back. Inhale, press the chest up to the sky. And exhale, fold forward. Humble warrior. Inhale, come all the way back up. Warrior two. Exhale, pinwheel the hands down, step it back, downward facing dog. Here in downward facing dog, feel the opening of the collarbones. Even in this pose, you may like to walk your hands out even wider toward the outer edges of the mat. Just to feel and notice the differences depending on how you set up your dog. Take an inhale, lift your left heel to the sky. Exhale, plant that foot in between the hands and inhale, come up, crescent lunge. Fingertips stretch toward the sky. Exhale, hinge at the elbows. And inhale, press the chest up toward the rafters. Shoulder blades squeeze in toward one another on the back body. Inhale, open the arms out, ground down the right heel, the right outside of the foot. Warrior two. From Warrior two, interlace the fingers behind the back. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale, humble warrior. Inhale, reach it back up, warrior two. And exhale, frame off the left foot with the hands, step it back, flow, or meet in downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, lift the right heel up to the sky, bend and open the hip, and gaze underneath the right armpit. If you like, you can start to pivot around on your left toes and allow your right heel to come back and down and around toward the ground and lift up through the hips. Press out of the socket of the left shoulder for wild thing. Open through the chest. Come out of this just the same way you came in. Bring your right hand back down, pivot on the toes of your left foot, and exhale, your right foot comes back down to the mat. Downward facing dog. We'll take that on the other side. Take an inhale, lift your left heel to the sky. Exhale, bend the knee and open the hip. Gaze underneath the left shoulder. Let's see if I can do this without breaking any furniture. Flipping your dog. Press the hips up. And exhale, come out the same way we came back in. And downward facing dog. Lovely. Exhale, knees come down to the mat. Press your hips back over your heels, and come to this kneeling position. We're gonna come into a kneeling back bend. So here, it might be nice to have your blocks on the highest setting on either side of your heels. You might tuck your toes under or leave them flat on the top of the mat if you like that. Bring your hands to like your back pockets, and you can either point the fingertips up to the sky or point them down for a little less support that way. Press the points of your pelvis forward in space. Extend up through the chest first, lifting up through the chest. And then exhale, find a little bit of a back bend. You can bring your hands down to the blocks if you find them. You can leave them on your low back, or you can bring them down to your heels. Press your hips forward in space. Don't just flop your neck back toward your back, but hold it with those deep neck flexors. And breathe. Gradually press yourself back up. And exhale, lower down, child's pose. These back bends, like I said, they can be kind of vulnerable. They can be kind of activating to the nervous system, all this chest opening. Some of it's back bending and some of it's not. But bring yourself up to a seat and then tent the knees up toward the sky and come to lay down onto the back. Just breathe and notice what comes up for the body and the mind here. We're coming into bridge pose. So bring your heels in toward your glutes. Fingertips can just graze the backs of the heels. And on your next inhale, lift your hips up and off of the mat and walk the shoulder blades underneath the back. Strongly engage the glutes and press the fronts of the hips up toward the sky. Breathe here. And exhale, lower all the way down. Windshield wiper the knees left and right. And we'll take that again. You can grab your block for a restorative bridge if you like. Or you can take another active bridge, whatever you choose. Bring the hips up toward the sky. And if you're using a block, find the flat part of the low back, the sacrum, to position on the top of the cork block. And slow down the rhythm of the breath here. On your next inhale, press the hips up toward the sky, remove your block, and exhale, lower the hips down, windshield wiper, knees left and right. Hug knees in toward the chest, and rock and roll yourself up to a seat. Bring your right heel beside your left hip, and you can cross your left knee on top, tented up toward the sky. Bring your right hand behind your back, Lift up through the crown of the head and extend the left arm up and overhead. Find length between the armpit and the hip. And then use the strength of the core to twist you around and over to your right. Open through the collarbones, even in this twist. And exhale, unwind. Switch out the cross of the legs. Your left heel by your right hip. Your right knee tenting up to the sky. Lift up through the crown of the head. Left hand behind the back. Right arm extends up and overhead. And find space in between the hip and the armpit. Use the strength of the core to twist around and to your left. Opening through the collarbones. Even as we twist the spine, we open through the front of the body. Exhale, unwind. Bring the soles of your feet in toward one another. And bring the thumbs to the soles of the feet and open them out. You can engage the glutes to press the knees down toward the mat. Inhale, lift through the crown of the head. And exhale, fold forward. You can allow your spine to round here. Or you can still press into the insides of the thighs with the elbows and press the chest forward. Even here. Inhale to lengthen back up to a seat. Bring the hands to the outsides of the knees and bring them in toward one another. We're going to set up for a supported fish pose. So you need your 2 blocks, and this block is going to sit down underneath the shoulder blades. You want to bring it wide ways on your mat, and that one is going to be long ways on your mat, sort of depending on how high you want the head to be supported. You might bring it to the middle, the lowest, or the highest setting. And it takes a little getting used to set yourself up here. Don't be afraid to readjust yourself once you get laying down if you find that the spine is sort of being pinched by the position of the block. But bring the arms down to either side and then just slowly, I should also say you can bring this one to the middle height as well. There's no competition here for creating more or less chest opening. Just find a pose that feels sustainable and also opening for the chest. Lower down slowly, easy, using the support from your arms. And find the back of the head on the upper block. And once you're here, you can keep your knees tented up to the sky. That can feel a little bit more supported, a little less intensity. Or you can extend your legs long toward the top edge of the mat. We'll just be here for a few breaths. Allow shoulders to settle down on either side of the back. And feel the sensations that rise like waves through the body. And maybe sensations of warmth, of even discomfort, muscles contracting and relaxing. All that is normal. And find a way to soften. . . . In this pose, the breath tends to get a little constricted as we press into the backs of the ribs and the backs of the lungs. So see if you can lengthen the breath to deepen it. And to come out of this, I'm going to tent our knees back up. Slowly, ever so slowly. And bring them in closer to the hips. Get the shoulders supported by the elbows. You can either roll off of this over onto one side or press yourself using the strength of your elbows and your hands to press yourself up and remove the blocks off to the side. And lower all the way back down. Slowly, gently with yourself, feeling the echo of the blocks. It might feel nice here to hug the knees into the chest or to lengthen them, the legs lengthening long out toward the top of the mat. Shine the palms of the hands up toward the sky as you get settled in for a final Savasana pose. And notice how here, flat on the back, the shoulders fall into their natural position. You might like to adjust, flattening the shoulders onto the back, and soften. As you're ready, roll over onto one side. And use the strength of the arms to press yourself up. And then find a seat on your mat. Hands over the heart or hands together at heart center. I want to thank you all so much for practicing with me today. It is a joy and a pleasure to share this practice. Thank you.